Good morning, Facebook family and friends. This is Brenda Johnson, Canvas Tag, retired school principal. Hope everyone's doing really good today. It's a beautiful day. God is truly good to us. Amen. God keep us safe. The blood of Jesus over us. What's going on? Well, I have some stories today for y'all. You notice I didn't get up saying, jump out of that bed. It's cold outside, so I would be in the bed. But I have things I need to get done, so Brenda's not in the bed today. Yes, I just refer to myself as second person. Someone asked me that the other day. They're like, you always refer to yourself in the second person. Yes, I do. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened. I'm sad. You know, it picks the coldest day to come in and try to make you some hot chocolate and your Keurig machine or your coffee maker don't work. So I was telling a couple of my friends about it and they were like, yeah, we're having the same problems. Matter of fact, I was just on the phone talking to a friend. I said, we tried what is it called? Descaling it? We tried pretty much everything. And so, couldn't get it to work. Ooh. So, and last time that happened, I was very upset. Because y'all know how much those things cost? The smaller they are, it looks like the more they cost. So what I did was, hold on a minute, I'm going to show y'all what I did. So what I did is what I did with my washing machine. I want to fix it myself. That's one thing about being retired. You get time to do whatever you want to do. So today, I had to boil my water in the microwave for my hot cocoa. But that's okay, because at least I have hot cocoa. So, we're going to work on this together. So I have a couple of you, only 3 of you. I said a whole bunch of you. Ooh. I have 3 of you who are going to be working with me, okay? Now, let me say this. Man, that's good, y'all. Let me say this. Number 1, don't try this at home. I am not responsible when you don't hurt yourself. Okay, here's the Keurig machine. This is the Keurig machine, okay? First thing, unplug it and move it away from where you are to a whole different space. And why I say that is because people tend to forget to unplug things and get to working with them right away. But if you move it to where there's it could be a close outlet where you can just get up and plug it. Like I can plug mine down here. Something like that, you're okay. But if you're gonna, I just never work with electricity right where, I know I can forget to plug it in or something, or unplug it. So I don't want to ever forget to unplug it. So that's what I do. The other thing I'm going to tell y'all is, I'm trying to brief, so bear with me here, is I am not responsible if you kill yourself. This is just for information with people who have common sense. If you don't have common sense, don't do this. No, I'm just kidding. I did good with my washing machine. Y'all saw that. That was good. Saved me a lot of money. And I bless that lady who came to help me, show me, because I didn't know a lot about computer, because it's a computer. Let me back up. With that dryer, I didn't know a lot about that kind of stuff. When I say that kind, I know how to take the tumbling thing out and all that, and put the hoses and all that, and clean those and all that. What I did know is how the computer worked and the lanyards in there, and that are in the thing. But because now everything's computer, so she showed me. I have her name. I'm going to put it in the comments. She's also an extra rep if y'all need something. She's amazing. She's not going to teach you. She's amazing. I mean, and I was like, they sent her. I said, I got to. And I was even like, you can tell I'm old school. About to be 62, old school. Said, woman going to come help me with this wash machine? But hey, y'all, she knocked it out the park. And I'm going to put her information up so y'all can see it. So, y'all, and there's something else you need to know. First of all, don't be scared. When you do something like this, I always wait to see if it's my last thing before I'm going to go buy a new one. If I don't have the money for a new one, I'll just let it drip, drip, drip. I don't care about that. At least it's working. If I have the money, and before I go buy a new one, I'm going to do whatever I can to save it before I throw it away. So a lot of times I'll have one and I've had it. I'm just tired of looking at it. You know, y'all remember the other one was a different color. And I just get tired of it. So what I do is I break it open. And, because I'm going to throw it away anyway. Or I'll go to, if I'm having a problem out of one, I'll go to, these are small things. Goodwill. And I will get something from Goodwill. So the whole idea is, I'll get it from Goodwill and I'll open it up. If I mess it up, I only paid $5 for it. Coffee makers are cheap. If you want a good coffee maker, go to Goodwill. They're cheap. $5. So that is how I usually do it. So what I'm telling you guys today is, first of all, I grew up in an Ace Hardware store with my dad. Most of y'all know that. I used to be a manager at an Ace Hardware store. I used to be a manager at Home Depot. That's how I paid my way through college. So a lot of stuff I've already know, okay? Now, with that said, it still took me a while. I was still a little scared. I can't do it. No, you can. I'm telling you, you can. And now let me tell you why you can now. Here's a difference. One big difference why people out there that are doing home visits and helping people fix things, they're not making any money anymore. You know why? Because of YouTube. All you have to do is go on YouTube and you can find someone who has the exact same thing you have, the exact same problem. And I'm saying the exact same problem, and they're going to show you how to fix it. Now, with that said, here you go. Let's get into this. So, I didn't even watch it on YouTube. I didn't need to. So here's a Keurig. If you're watching it on YouTube, they're going to tell you step to step what you need to do. Now, for all those people out there, before y'all comment, there's a way you need to put this stuff in there and push this button, and it cleans it, and it'll do that, and it'll do this, and it'll do that. No, I already know that. Make sure before you do come to this part where I'm at right now, that you clean this up. Make sure everything's right. Nothing's broken in there. It looks good. We're good to go on that part. So that tells me if I did all those steps already, try to clean it, reset it. Soft reset is when you turn it on and off right here. See, you just learned some vocabulary. On anything, on any equipment that's electrical, a soft reset is not unplugging it, turning it off, leaving it off for a while, and then come back and try it. Soft reset. If that don't work, when I say a while, at least 5 minutes. If that don't work, then you do a hard reset. A hard reset is unplugging it for about 5 minutes. If that don't work, then you know there's something in here. Now, here's where your common sense kicks in, okay? Let's get with the common sense here. Here's where the common sense kicks in. This thing can only do so much, right? The only brain it needs to be is when the water gets hot. So you need some kind of thermometer in here. And what else do we need to know? When it stops flowing. And what cup. So we don't have that much in here to do. But what would be stopping the water? Common sense would tell us that there's something blocking here. And I don't know, y'all. So what I do is, and I did the easy part, I just peel these out. This comes off. It's in there. It comes off. Okay? Now, I started laughing. Let me show you how the back of this. I started laughing because my friend, bless her heart, she didn't tore hers up trying to get to this. You have to use some common sense, okay? Or you watch the video. So here we have this. Oh, here we have this. So back to our common sense, and I'm going to turn this. Y'all are going to see me for a minute here. So on here it tells me that the only thing that can be blocking is here, up here. That's my heating element, and that's it. So let's see what's blocking. I'm going to turn y'all around so y'all can see it with me. Okay. Let's see. See that right there? Let me scoot back so y'all can see. Let me put my glasses on. Let's see if any hard water's in there. Right here. Oh yeah, there's water right there. Y'all see that water bubble? That's a water bubble. So there's something in here that's blocking it, keeping it from going in there. Yeah, buddy. See that bubble? I'm going to point to it so y'all can see it. There's a water bubble right there. You see it? So that water bubble, just like the swimming pool. Remember when we worked on the swimming pool? And remember when we worked on the hot tub? This is how we found our problem. So that tells me that somewhere in here is stopped up. Now, they're smart in there. Let's see if they put a thing on this pipe. Nope, they didn't. Okay, let's see how they got this little black thing in here. Hold on, y'all. Let me move my hot chocolate so I don't drop it. Ooh, child. Okay. I don't know how they got that in there, but they did. Yep. So what I'm doing is I'm pumping this. What the machine would do, see that bubble's gone? That bubble's gone. Let's see if I'm priming it to see if it's going to go through here or not. You can actually change the solenoids out too. Look, y'all. Let me scoot back so you can see the screws. Okay, and then this one comes up here. And it comes through here and here. I've actually taken this off before. And so that's usually where the problem is up in here. Not here. This is what puts a hole. This thing right here is very sharp. It's what you put the hole into the, what do you call it? That's what you put the hole into the coffee. When you put it in there, this punches a hole. So here, right here is where the water comes out. So with this bubble here, this is telling me that there is a problem right here. And I still have that bubble. See that bubble? I'm actually priming it with my finger. And this is what the machine does. It sends it through up and down, up and down. Here are your, see that? It's not much to this. So, how are we going to fix this? Well, we have to force water through here, and clear all this out from here. Now you ask yourself, Johnson, what are you smoking? And they don't give you much to clean it. They know what they're doing. So, I see that one has a bubble. So that tells me the problem. See that? Whoa. It's right there. That's my problem. That, I don't know if y'all can see, is clogged. The little bitty thing is clogged. So you ask yourself, hold on, how am I going to unclog that sucker? There's lots of ways, but the way that I have to do it is cold outside. So we're going to go out to the garage in my shop, and I'm going to show y'all, I think, if I can handle the cold weather, I'm going to show y'all, because it's cold out there. My head, it's cold. Hold on. We're just walking through to my shop in the garage. It's like they break down in threes. It's almost like you die in threes. Okay, come on, dog. Come on out. We're not going out. Oh, you don't want to come out here, huh? Come on. Come on. We'll stay there then. Okay. So, we're going to have to plug some stuff up. It's cold out here. I'm going to put y'all right here so y'all can see me. Because the door's not going to open. And I'm going to have to get some extension cord. Hold on. This little cold breeze we have, it'll come through so quick. It'll come in and out. Hold on, y'all. Okay. We have to go this way then. I'm coming that way. Trying to figure out how I had this plugged in. What I was doing. Probably had it this way then. Yeah, I had to have it this way. Okay. Like I said, it's cold out here. Bear with me. It's 30 degrees. Okay, then we need you. Where do you go? You're gonna go in here. Okay, so how are we gonna fix this? And if it wasn't a coffee maker, let me fix it. Let me be honest with y'all, because I'm cold. I have a little air compressor. And what I'm going to do is, sorry about the light, I'm going to shoot some air in that hole I told y'all about. So it's going to get loud. I apologize now for my air compressor is going to come on. Let me tell y'all, it is blowing it out of here too. I can see, ooh, y'all can see the junk that's coming out of here. Yeah, I can see that water. Okay, now also, if I looked in here and I saw gooey stuff in this end here, then I would know I needed to pull this hose out, and you can flush it the opposite way. Okay, that's all we're doing is flushing it with air. Okay. Woo, y'all, it is cold, cold, cold out here. It's too cold for me. So, just gotta move this stuff. Y'all know me, I'm a clean freak, so hold on. Okay, got that done. Okay, so now, we're gonna take it back and try to hook it up and see where we go. Okay? And get out of this cold, because it's cold. Really, Johnson? Okay, let's get out of this cold. Okay. So we got part of that done. Whew, it's cold. And let's see if we did a good job. So, remember, we can get no water through. Let's put this back together. We can even watch it. I'm gonna plug it up. Here comes my common sense. Remember that common sense we talked about? Hey, Jalen. Hey, Joanna Johnson. That is my grandson and my granddaughter. I'll call you when I finish this. I thought you were sleeping in because y'all drove all 6 hours. Okay, so we got this plugged in. Let's get something the water can go into. Let's see how we did. We'll do 10. And I got it so y'all can, let's see. We got water. Oh, I was gonna fill this glass up. What was I thinking? So, we got water. So it's working. But we also need to, when you do that, you gotta like, there's some that, see that stuff that came out? There's some that not gonna, you gotta get it all out. And then we're gonna flush this again. Hold on. Okay, I had to put some more water in the reservoir. Okay, be careful because this is plugged up. When you do yours, make sure you put this back on yours. I've done this before, so I know what I'm doing. Okay? You don't even have to put it on tight. You can just put it there. My bubble's gone, so I'm just making sure that something didn't get stuck down in there. Okay? So then, what did I just do with that cup? I'm going to try it again. Now, the first time I hit it, I got some coffee. So I'm pretty much can tell you what happened. Okay. Let's try it again. Let's see. We'll go to 10. Oh, hello. There it goes. And you watch the flow of the water. When you watch the flow of the water, you can tell if there's something stopping it, or it should be a straight flow like that. That's a straight flow. Dang, it's still moving. Look at that. It is fixed. Now, you look at me and say, the water, again, it's very important. No matter what you do, the only place this water's coming out of is this little black thing I showed y'all up here with the little yellow or white thing in there. That was stopped up. There's a screen there. Why they put that screen in that little thing, I don't know. But, as you see, it is fixed. So now let's put this bad boy back together. First, I want to see if I have a bubble. Okay, I have no bubbles. So, that tells us what? That there's no air. So probably a lot of times it could be, see, there's no bubble. Let me scoot back so y'all can see. There's no bubble in there. A lot of times that bubble, like on the pool and the hot tub and stuff, if there's air bubble, that bubble is not gonna let anything go through this line. Okay? So there was, the bubble was part of my problem. The air bubbles were in here, but I blew them out. I primed it because it's called priming them. It's like when you prime a lawnmower, people don't realize. They're like, why did we prime this lawnmower? Because you got to get those bubbles out. And if you don't, that gas ain't going nowhere. That bubble's right there. That gas is right there. And I used to tell my girls all the time, hey, when you cut the yard, make sure you prime it. So now we have this. I stopped buying prime lawnmowers because it was a hassle. I kept getting air bubbles. So we're going to put this back on. There's no screws to this. This is snaps on. That's it. There's no screws. Now you say, Johnson, how do you know to take that off? First of all, and I can actually say, I didn't even look at any pictures. I looked on what would be the best way for them to make this, because they don't want us to fix it. Because if we fix it, then they're not going to sell another one. We're not going to sell another one. So I'm going to walk back to how you do this. Okay, real quick. You unplug it, okay? Move it away from an area where you used to be sitting, okay? This is after you did all your priming in your machine and everything. Hey, Dion, how you doing, sweetie? This is after you've done all your priming and everything. Then this is where you've done everything they told you to do, and it's still nothing coming out. I know there's a lot of you who are just joining us at the beginning of this video. There was nothing coming out. This thing wasn't draining. So we went over how to fix it, and I'm going to go over it again, but this time with words. If you want to see how I did it, I actually took it in the garage and primed it. I'll tell you how I did that. There's so many ways you can prime it. Okay, so the first thing I did was you want to unplug it. Okay, we unplugged it. The next thing I did was I looked at what area of this would come off. What is like part of the machine and what's not? Well, if you look at your lines, these are the only unbroken lines. So I knew then, I just knew. Or you could watch a video. Because most people won't think this comes off because it goes down to here. This would be stopping it. But you can also watch a video. But once you do these for a while, you'll know. So then I open this up, and I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't even like doing, Bonnie will do where you prime it with the stuff you buy and put in there and you prime it. I'm going to tell y'all, that stuff don't work. That's just like, it'll prime it for a while. But common sense is going to tell you something. You'll prime it, it'll dissolve some of that air, but not all of it. You're still going to have those air bubbles, okay? So how are you going to remove those air bubbles? The machine can't. So a lot of times you're just buying all this stuff, throwing it away. Me, if Bonnie says the coffee maker ain't working, I don't even prime it, y'all. I don't even prime it. I don't go in and get some stuff, put it in here and run it through. I won't do it. I'll just open it up like I just showed y'all. There's no screws. I just pull this out. Okay? This is what we have. Now, here's where your common sense kicks in. And we already went over this. We're just doing it again to show y'all. Okay. Here's your line. Okay? This thing only does 3 things. It tells the machine, this Illinois tells the machine how many cups you push, how much water to dispense, and stop and start. That's it. So we know it is so easy. It can't be anything hard. Now, the big Keurigs, if you go back in my videos, we opened that sucker up. Y'all, we had so much fun that day. It was crazy. But here's this, the line, the water line right here. And remember, we had a big bubble right here. I showed y'all. It's on screen. There was a big bubble here. So if there's a big bubble here going into my water thing, and this is it's going to bypass this heating element here. So the water, the area of the hole for this to go through is so small. This is my water line right here. It's clear. Now, you want to really get screwed up? Some people will put a black water line there so you can't even look at that. That's really crazy. The wash machine we did the other day, this was black. You couldn't see through it. So at least somebody has common sense and you can see through it. So you see that air bubble there. It's not there now and it's gone, but y'all can see it on video. Okay? So then you tell yourself, well, there's only can be a clock since it's only from here to here. So this is straight up. Okay, so gravity ain't gonna hold nothing. So there's only gonna be 2 things keeping this thing from moving. This water from moving. Here, this point here, and this point up here. Okay? And if it's up here and your bubble's here, then that's telling you it's making it, and then the bubble's right here. So your problem's right here. If the bubble's up here and all this water's still here, then your problem's here, okay? So here was our bubble, okay? Somehow when somebody primed this, air got into the line. I don't know how, sometimes it does. I know a lot of times, y'all have seen those videos of me with my hot tub. I'm under the hot tub trying to figure out where the air bubble is. And we have 3 pumps in that hot tub. Because it's a 7-man hot tub, there's 3 pumps. So each pump, I had to go in and find out where that air bubble was. And you will never believe this, but I found it in the last pump I checked, which was the furthest back. I always check the easiest pumps first before I go to the back. So we had our air bubble. So we shot air. We did a force. We primed it. We shot air. We went in the garage and we used my, what do you call that? the big old pancake, I call it pancake, air compressor. And we turn this, open this up. There's a little black nozzle right here. I'm going to show y'all, those of you that are just joining us. See this little black nozzle right here where my screwdriver is? Hold on, let me get back. See that yellow thing right here? Right there. That had some coffee in there, but it wasn't blocked. Just had some coffee grinds in there, but it was not blocked at all. So that told me that there was air, that I needed to prime it. So I stuck my air nozzle in here from my air compressor. And this, I did this online, y'all, so on this same video earlier. And it pushed the bubble out of here. Okay? The machine's not strong enough to do that. It goes back again to the swimming pool and to the hot tub. That's exactly the same thing that happens with our swimming pool and hot tub. So with air, I didn't push with water. Why didn't I push with water? Because air is lighter than water, and that's a whole nother ball game. Y'all know I have a master's in science, so I'm not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because it's really don't mean nothing except for it's easier to get the air through here than and water's not coming through. If there's already a liquid that's heavier already sitting in here, it's not going to go through. Okay? What I did was I just filled this tube up with air, and as soon as it got full with air, you know what happened? It just went through. And it's funny because we used to buy Keurigs and throw them away. Oh man, I'm tired. We done put every liquid in here, and we done this, we done that. I'm tired of it, and we throw them away. Well, once I retired, I realized we were throwing them away, and I had time to fix it. Because when being a principal, you ain't got that time. Even if you're an assistant principal, you ain't got that time. But this is what it looks like, y'all. So every coffee maker is gonna have this problem. Your tubing. My other one, if you go back and look at my other one, I had the big one. It had the same problem. Y'all know what I did? Y'all gonna think I'm crazy when I tell y'all this. They think they slick. See how they did this so you can't pull it out? So what I did was I cut it here and I blew it out. Then I put from here to here, I put another pipe thing here with the brass piping right here and right here, and I fixed it. It cost me the pieces for the nozzle that I put here. It's a male nozzle, and so one male end went this way, the other male end went this way, and then that was it, y'all. And I fixed it that way. Now, I have also came in when I paid like $100 and some for that Keurig. I have actually changed this out to brass. But I haven't done that in like years. And that was just for fun because I wanted to see if I could do it. It was a broken Keurig. I got it I got it for $4 at Goodwill. So, and like I said, I don't do this step until I know I've done everything I can do. Okay, this is my last step. Now, before I'm going to throw this bad boy away. You can't hurt nothing because you're going to throw it away anyway. Okay? A lot of times, and this is, if you go to a thrift store, you'll see people buying these all the time. You're like, why are they buying those? They know they don't work. They're right. You know what they do? I'm going to tell you what they do. Because I used to do it at my store. When I had that shop at the flea market, I used to buy these all the time, but they weren't they were the same idea, but it wasn't Keurig, hadn't came into play yet. It just came into play back then. We would just go in, y'all, I'm not kidding, open up those things. We would take our fingers and prime it like this, and it would go right through, put it back on, clean it up nicely, and we would sell them. I'd make a killing. When Keurig came out, I was making a killing. So even if you're buying that stuff that you put in, I mean, come on, y'all. Let's think about it. If I make a machine and I'm making money, okay? When a Keurig came out, the first Keurig machine came out was $300 and something. I want y'all to think about this, okay? We had no problems with that machine. That machine lasted so long. The only reason we got rid of it was too big. It took too much room off the counter. They came out with a smaller one, and then a smaller one. I'm telling y'all, these hoses weren't this cheap, okay? So this is a skinny hose I'm touching. And like I said, I worked at Home Depot. I was a manager. I worked Ace Hardware. I was over that whole store. So I'm telling y'all, now this is like a home brand. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So, hey, Rosanna, let's say I bought a drill, a Black & Decker drill. That is for home use. So they're not going to do a lot to that Black & Decker drill, and they're going to put cheaper stuff in there. It's going to be more plastic in there because it's only for home use. It's not going to be on a site being used building a home or something like that. So Black & Decker owns DeWalt, or DeWalt owns Black & Decker, however you want to say it, but it's actually Black & Decker owns DeWalt. So DeWalt, it's the same company, but the only difference is DeWalt is made, and it's yellow, so you can't get mixed up. So if you lose it on the site, it's made to work off of like building stuff, businesses and stuff like that. The material's different, it costs more. The inside of the mechanisms cost more to make, stuff like that. That is the difference, okay? You're not going to find something like this in a coffee maker at a restaurant. It's going to be different. It's going to cost you a little bit more because this hosing is going to cost more. This contraption here is just keeping that solenoid in place. Everything's going to be different because it's going to be used more. So you're going to have to pay more, okay? That's what I want you to think about. Think of it like a tool. This is a Black & Decker, not a Ryobi. Keurig's the same way. They have them for home use. They have them for restaurants. Now, when they came out, they were introduced to people like us who live at home. So they weren't made to last long, okay? And here's another thing. Since they made it for people like us, we had to clean them. They're like, okay, how can we make more money on this? And this is where y'all are going to laugh. I want y'all to look at how much it cost. Matter of fact, it's funny, I'm sitting here because I saw a commercial on TV as I was sitting here. To get the cleaner, go to Amazon, to clean this, to go into here, prime it, run it, then you run it again, then you run it again. I want you to see how much it costs for you to do that. To buy that liquid that goes in here. Okay? So let's say you buy 3 of them. You done bought the machine. So the money's not off the machine. The money's off of cleaning them. Now, I will say this, Keurig, they're good. If you take care of it, you clean it like you should and you prime it, they're really good machines, and Keurig's not paying me to do this. So they're very good. They're one of the best coffee makers I've seen and worked with. They're amazing. They're worth, now this one didn't cost much at all. Okay? So that's how you do that. Okay? So we primed it. It's good to go. The last one I opened up was about this side. It had screws over here. It had a bunch of screws. Okay? So they don't even have to deal with the screws now. They don't even have to pay for screws. There's no screws in here. Have y'all noticed? The only screws you see are on this thing right here. And that's just holding that little, it's just a little, it's like a seat to hold that heating element. That's it. The heating element's right here. That's it. There's nothing else in here, y'all. Here's your brain right there. There's nothing else in here. Look. See, there's a hose. I'm going to show y'all something. The hose comes here. See right here? Up here's your heating. It gets heated right there. There's a hose back here. I don't know if y'all can see that hose right there. There's a hose back there. See, that hose is not clogged. Y'all see that hose? It's not clogged. So, and then there's a hose here. It's the same hose. They got it. It goes around, it comes down, it comes up into there, and then it comes here. Now, the last one I worked on was a hose here that was here to here. There was a hose here from here to here, and there was a hose here from here to here. This one starts here, goes into here, and then it goes into here, and then it comes out, and it stops right there. That's that one hose. This hose here, the one right here, goes in here, and that's where the water comes down in that thing I showed you all. And it comes here, it heats it. So the water comes, you put the water in, it pulls it in through there, comes back, heats it, goes down. Okay? That's how simple it is. There's not a lot to it. There is no screws. We just set this back in, and we're going to push it back in. That's it. Okay, I'm going to turn y'all around. And then, so whenever you prime too, you know, if you ever cook a cake, you could tell, I'm trying to plug this in, hold on y'all. You can tell people who know how to bake. If you ever cooked a cake, let's say I cooked a cake in here, I'm making a cake, and I pour my batter. You'll see this. You can tell a good cake maker, because they'll go, and you're like, why are they doing that? My mom was a cake maker. I used to say, Mom, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to the pan with the mix in it? She's getting those bubbles out. That's what she's doing. She's getting the bubbles out of the cake mix. Okay? So whenever I prime it like I did with the air compressor, which is on this video, if you're just joining me, you'll have to go back and see it. It's on this same video. And then I just barely, see that coming out on my hands? I'm just barely hitting it because I've already primed it. So this thing, we'll put this back on. And nothing, just water came out on my hand. We'll put this back on. It's blinking. Let's see what we got. We're gonna go, we did them all, so I'll do 10. So we want one steady stream. Remember how big that hose is, so you're not getting that much water. That's about how big that hose is. You hear that? Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. There's something floating in there. Y'all see it? It's right here. You see it? So, whoa, that was hot. Let me pull this out. Y'all, can y'all see that floating in there? That's what just got flushed out. That just got flushed out of there. And so let's go back and see. Since that came out, we want to make sure nothing got stuck in there and we don't have any air bubbles. So I'm going to open it back up. Okay. I don't have any air bubbles here. No air bubbles. There's no air bubbles. So I'm good. Okay, there's no air bubbles. So we're going to put it, hey Joe, we're going to put this back in. And we're going to do it one more time. But before I put this on, that's what I meant to tell y'all. Don't do it with this on. So when we blew the air into here, when we blew that air into this hose right here, we probably knocked some of that stuff out of there when I did the air compressor right here a minute ago. So let's see. Make sure you take this off. We're just making sure, because I blew it, so it blew everything out. Because what y'all are not seeing is what's falling in this tray. But I don't think there's anything left. Just making sure. And remember, I washed this, so there's whatever's coming in this tray, it's not coming from there. And you can even, if you want to be sure, you can even take this thing out. Then you're definitely sure. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. I think we're done, y'all. Let's try it one more time. We should be done. So we used our air compressor, and you said, well, Brenda, I don't have an air compressor. Okay, let's see what we got here. There it goes. Steady stream. We know how thick that line is. There you go. It's coming out a lot faster. It's actually popping out off on me. Look at that. Look how quick we're filling that sucker up now. That is quick. So, what did we learn? We got the bubble out with the air compressor. We got the coffee, little whatever was in there out with the air compressor. And then whatever got stuck from the air compressor, we just barely tapped this and the rest came out. Y'all see that? This is shooting, man. It's getting it out. Look at that. Let me show y'all what's in here. And now what it's doing, the reason you're seeing some of this stuff go in here is because, remember I said earlier, it was clean. So that's how easy it is, y'all. Ooh, this water's hot. That's how easy it is. It's fixed. I don't have to go buy another one. Okay, that's what I wanted to, that was my thing for today. That was fun. So, I'm going to tell you the best way to keep from doing this, and I think part of the problem was, which I know was, even though we use the filter thing over there, sometimes you're in a hurry and there's no water in the filter, so you'll just throw straight water in here. That was what we were seeing. When I banged it, that was some of that hard water. And what I did was when I put the air compressor, I blew all that out. Remember, I blew the opposite way. It was coming down here, so it was stuck coming this way. I blew it all the way back out here. Okay, I blew it out back to here. And that's why you saw that water come up. As soon as I blew it, that water came up. That tells me that there was an air bubble and hard water was in there. But that's it, guys. Hope somebody learned something. Hope this saves you some money. Like I said, before you throw it away, take it apart. You're going to throw it away anyway. Take it apart. My dad used to do it all the time. I said, Dad, what are you doing with this TV? And I thought he was being smart. He's like, I'm going to make a fish tank out of it. Now, we had this used console TV. Never forget. Used console TV, color TV. And he's like, I'm going to make a fish tank. We thought my dad was being smart. So on his off day one day, we came home from school. And there was a fish tank sitting in the living room. We're like, what the hell? what he did was, he was serious. He was making a fish tank. He gutted out the insides of that TV, took the big old, and back then they were heavy, y'all. Those were those big, the screen was this big tube of glass. He took all that out. He kept the square wood. Then he came in and he put some glass and he framed it in. He put the sealant on the glass, and y'all, we had the most beautiful fish tank you could ever see. Now, my dad made furniture and sold it because he had a furniture store where he would make furniture and sell it. Oh, I wanted to cry when that sold. He sold it and I wanted to cry. So he would sit there and get these ideas. So once he took the TV apart, if something happened, I'll never forget it. I say, hey, Dad, my TV's not working. I'm seeing purple colors and everything. He'd go in, y'all. And he was like, oh, yeah, I can tell you what that is. Because he opened up, when he was going to throw away a TV, he opened it up. I want to see how this works. Which was okay until it cost him some money, because my brother Freddie and I, we got the idea to do the same thing one day when he was at work. But here's our problem. What we did it to wasn't broken. Now, we didn't get in trouble. I never forget. I took my stereo apart. I had one of those big console stereos in my room that lift up, and it had the speakers on the sides, inside the wood. I took that sucker apart. I took that turntable off, took every screw I could find, didn't care where it was. I laid everything down. It took us probably a week to put that back together. But my dad informed us that that was not a good idea, because there was nothing wrong with it. And then he taught us the lesson of, you weren't going to throw it away. So if you messed it up, you're okay. Since you were going to throw it away anyway, that's why it wouldn't matter if you look at it. So I'll never forget that day. And he said, and then you have to map it. Now, when he's talking to us, mind you, I'm in 3rd grade. My brother's in 2nd grade. We're a year apart, okay? So we're like, map it? What are you talking about, Dad? He says, come here. He had a notebook this big, because back then they didn't have cell phones, remember? And he would draw on that. When I opened it up, and y'all that know my dad knows his handwriting, it's like he typed it. Y'all know that's one thing Sonny was known for, his handwriting. And he had the notes he had in there. He had the picture drawn, what it was, what it did, what happened if this happened, what happened if this didn't happen. Mind you, he didn't have YouTube. He had to go in the encyclopedias we kept. Yeah, they went for the encyclopedias sell too. And that's when he would just write all that down. And so he taught me. That's what, real quick, I learned real quick. So did my brother. We'd go to school and tear up stuff. Man, y'all, I get in so much trouble. I remember in junior high, they gave us calculators. I took that sucker apart. I wanted to know how it worked. And so I remember those days. Woo, I got in so much trouble. I can remember one time. God, I remember those days. I remember one time, and I told this story before, so forgive me, but I have to tell y'all this. We were in science class. Back in those days, they had those burners. I was in junior high. And then they had those burners that you turn on and light. They trusted us back then. Shoot, ain't no way in hell nowadays I'd give a kid a match to do anything with. But anyway, we had matches. Y'all, do y'all realize we had matches? The school, junior high gave us matches. So anyway, we put a couple in our pocket. And then they told us we were learning about gases, the different gases. And so I was all excited because I learned about the different gases. And I go home and I tell my dad. And he's like, yeah. He said, there's another kind of gas you don't know about. And I'm like, there is? He's like, yeah. I said, well, what is it? He's like, sewer gas. And he told me about the P-traps in the toilet. I'm in 7th grade. He tells me about the P-traps in the toilet. A P-trap is where the toilet goes up like this, and it keeps the gas from coming back into your kitchen sink or wherever the sewer's coming from. It won't come back up, the gas. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And he said, yeah, if you mix this gas and this gas, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking, okay. So we're playing with sulfur, okay? And we have all these instant burners around the camp. Some of y'all were in class with me. So some of y'all going to remember this. So we're sitting in science lab. And we're supposed to be burning sulfur to see how it melts and all that. So I get this idea. So I got an idea. I was like, can I go to the restroom? He's like, yep. So I grabbed the hall pass off the wall. Remember those days you just grab the hall pass off the wall? And I'd go around looking the school, probably about 30 minutes. And then I go into the restroom finally. So when I get there, I said, okay, my dad said this is sewer gas. I got this. So I take my matches I stole a whole box of matches. And, you know, the one thing about this story I forgot to tell y'all, and I've told some people, the matches that he gave us, to this day I remember, I still have a pack, y'all. They are from hotels. It's not old enough to think anything of that. But now as I got older, I'm like, why is he always... And then, you know, this is a true story. I saw him one day and I asked him, I said, hey, I was already grown. And he's like, oh, they used to donate them to us. And I was like, oh, okay. But they were hotel matches. But anyway, I get the matchbook. I put the sulfur in the toilet. I light the match, drop it. As I drop the match and I go to flush it, the match immediately goes out, nothing. I'm like, shit. So I get this idea. Y'all remember we didn't have paper towels. You had that thing that goes like this and you just wipe your hands. It's a piece of cloth and you just come out of the machine. I got this. So I go back to the classroom. I get these scissors and I cut the scissors. I cut that. And teacher don't even know I'm gone. Cut it. Light that cloth on fire. Throw it in the toilet. But boom. I'll never forget as long as I live. And so I take off. There's no fire or nothing. It's just the toilet exploded. That was it. And the fire bell rings. The bell goes off. Because some people walking by, something blew up in the toilet, in the restroom. Da, 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 da. So I get in line and I'm walking and I'm outside standing in line. I'm like, okay. And then they told me, now mind you, I went to school in Harlingen, Texas. There was no blacks. Just my brother, me, who was at that school at that time. I think I was the only one back then, me and Ferdy in Harlingen. Everybody else was at a different school. Who was that age with us? No, Shauna had already went to the high school. Yeah, that was it. It was just me and Ferdy that I can remember. So I'm standing there and the lady comes over to me and she's the principal. Come here. The teachers. I'm like, yeah, what? She's like, what'd you do in the restroom? I was like, nothing. She goes, you threw a match in the toilet. I said, no, I didn't. I lit the thing on fire. And she's like, okay, come with us. They didn't do anything to me because they thought they were going to get sued. And so when they asked me, you know, the officer and everybody was standing there and they're like, why did you do it? I said, well, I wanted to see the gas. I wanted to see if it worked. I was trying to figure out if this worked. I was going to do my science experiment with it. And I was being honest. So they were like, yeah, okay. They weren't even mad or anything. And I said, how did y'all know it was me? And they're like, because you had all the toilet pieces. All that I thought was sweat was white porcelain and blood on my face. It was just, she goes, go to the restroom and clean your face. And she looks over, she tells the counselor, go with her. I was like, I can't believe that, y'all. So I was just trying to learn. That's it. Just trying to learn. Nowadays, you go to prison if you do something like that. But I just thought, hey, you know, it's in the toilet. I thought about it. Can't start a fire. It's in the toilet. It can't. Toilets don't burn. I thought about it all. But it's just a bad thing to do. It didn't go good at all. Not the way I thought it was supposed to go. So there is a such thing as sewer gas. I'm going to tell you right now. Sewer gas exists. So I learned a long time ago, my dad taught us to learn. Even my dad wasn't mad at me because he was saying, you know, it's kind of my fault because I've taught my kids to learn. So nowadays, when I was teaching my kids and they were growing up, I had to go in, okay, but you don't do this. Just like if you ever watch Leave It to Beaver on the episode of where they're being bullied on Leave It to Beaver, and they tell their dad, and their dad tells them a story where he gets these rings, metal rings, and he throws them out in this guy's yard. He calls him out, and the guy comes out and knocks the rings, knocks him in the face. That's what he tells Leave It to Beaver and his son, Wally. And so they go do that. They put these rings out, and they call for him, but the son don't come out. The dad comes out and gets hit and cut. And so that night, that just happens to be the same night that they were going over to their house to talk with their parents. You know, they talk and have drinks. So they knew they were coming. So they're like, oh, they were scared. They thought they were going to go to jail because they had did it. So when they told them, when the person got over there, I can't remember his name. It was the guy that used to make fun of him all the time. When his parents got over there to their house for drinks, they were sitting there and they're like, man, he really messed you up. And Beaver's dad's like, yeah, you need to call the police. This is ridiculous. You don't want this neighborhood to come to this, da 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 da, right? And then he told him what happened, and he's like, oh. And then he's like, oh boy. So then he goes upstairs and he questions the boys, and they're like, yeah, we did it. And so I'm not going to tell y'all. I want y'all to watch that episode, what happens at the end. But it was funny. And that reminded me of my dad. So much of my dad. I miss my parents. I do. But I know I'm truly blessed. I miss my dad and mom. And it was, so when I taught my kids, even with my grandbabies now, y'all know they'll be doing, like my grandbaby was out there cutting wood. 4th grade, he already can use every machine out there in the garage. So y'all could tell his face when he was cutting. He was a little nervous. But he knows if I don't do this, this, and this, I'm going to lose this finger, this finger, this finger, this finger. You know how he knows that? Because I set him down on YouTube and showed him how there's people on YouTube who will talk about, this is how I lost this finger. This is how I can't see anymore because I was cutting wood and didn't put on my glasses, or my goggles. So, and now he's so scared now, y'all. If y'all watch that video where I'm helping him, it's not too long ago because it was for a school project. And it's so, because he cuts out that Christmas tree. It's the one where he cuts out the Christmas tree. If you notice, the first thing he does when we get out there, it says, where are my goggles? See, they didn't do that for us. So now I know, hey, you can do this, this, and this. But if you do this, this, and this is going to happen. So I just thought that was something good. So I learned a lot. So, and I think with the coffee maker, anything you're going to fix, I think it's important for you to know that always remove it from where it sits. If you notice, I did my coffee maker right here because this is not where I keep it plugged in. I keep it plugged in over there because if I worked in it over there, I would forget it was plugged in. And you never want to forget something was plugged in. Trust me. So that's one thing I tell people. If you're working on something, don't work on it where you keep it plugged in. But it's a lot of fun. Like, I remember one time when I was a science coordinator for Region 20. I'll never forget this, as long as I live. I was science coordinator for Region 20 at Judson, and I was a coach at the time. So what I did was, I had a guy, and I said, I was at it was like an Office Mac. It might have been Office Mac, but I don't know if they were out yet. It was something just like that. It could have been Office Depot, but they sold them. They're all one company now. But anyway, I was in there one day, and I said, hey, what do y'all do with y'all old printers? And he's like, oh, we throw them away. I said, can I have them? He's like, yeah. So I started this club called Young Scientists. And we meet once every Wednesday. We would meet. I still have those pictures, guys. And we would meet, and they had Young Science. They had their little robes, and it said, not their robes, their little doctor, looked like doctor uniforms with their name on it, Young Scientists. It was packed. I actually had to stop taking kids because there was too many. And so then I did it, I did like 5 from each grade level. But anyway, it was Young Scientists. Okay? We had 35 kids. And I had a lot of parents that helped. Okay? And it was so cool. We followed their scores, their top scores that year. They were the ones that weren't doing too good in science. They were the kids that people said, oh, you're not really going to make it at anything. And you know, if you ask some kid, what do you want to be one day? You never hear them say scientist. And I asked them why. You know, all those years I taught, 33 years, I would ask kids, why don't you want to be a scientist? Oh, I'm not smart enough. So when I started the Young Scientists Club, it was at Coronado Village. I knew then, Coronado Village is an elementary school, by the way. I knew then that I had to show these kids a different way. So I found all these kids at their scores, they didn't have any faith at all in science. Then we had those that just knocked it out the water. So I said, if I get these kids, I can help these kids with their self-esteem, and I can help these kids teach others how to learn. So it was perfect. I loved that. Oh, I cried when I left that school. I became a assistant principal then, so I cried when I left. But I had that program going on there, okay? So we got all these printers, and I said, okay, guys, we're going to take these printers outside. We went out to the blacktop, and we dropped them. We got on this ladder thing, and we just dropped them open, dropped them open, dropped them open. But we kept one of each model. And we had this big table in the science. They actually gave us a room for our science. We had this huge table. And so the ones that we broke open, we put all the pieces. And the ones that we didn't break open, we opened up the backs of them so they could see them. And part of their job was to go get that piece and find it that went to theirs. And then they had to tell me in their journal, because they journaled every day, what piece and what did that piece do. And true story, y'all. I had this kid one day. He said, Johnson, I'm like, what's up? Now, he's grown now. I said, you look older than I do. You need to quit worrying. But anyway, great kid, Marcus. Love this kid. He's like, Miss Johnson. I'm like, what's up? He's like, oh, nothing. He was with his family. And he's like, this is my coach. This is Coach Johnson. I think we're at Walmart. So what you doing? He's like, girl, tell my wife that I know how to fix printers. Tell her how I learned to fix a printer. She's like, I said, what you doing in here? She's like, he's going to show me how much money he saved the family. And so I was like, Marcus, what are you doing? He's like, I fixed our printer. I said, you did? He's like, yeah, there's this little, when she put a tray out, this little piece came off. And I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, and I knew how to put it back on. Da, da, da. And he went and he showed her the printer. He said, look how much money I saved. And she was like, okay, I give you preps. You got it. And he goes, you remember when he took those things and boom, boom, boom? That made me feel so good that day. I was like, yes, because I remember that day. And we went to the park. We took him to a park, and we took plaster. And they plastered all of we went to 1 Mile Park. I don't know if y'all are from San Antonio. That's that park that goes all the way up to the tip for a mile. And the public library is sitting on that park. We went to the public library. We researched fingerprints and animal prints and everything. We left our stuff there. We walked out of the library. The park is right there. We went up a mile, and they cast all the prints they found. And that was on a Saturday. That's what Young Scientists did. If you want to know more about it for your school, let me know, and I'll help you get one created. It was amazing. These kids still remember these stories. So I remember the day I came home, and I had got tired of my printer. My kids were grown when this happened. They're like, Mom, what are you doing? I took it outside, and I threw it on the ground. They're like, what did you do? You just broke it. I said, no, I didn't. I'm going to show the kids, my grandkids, of what's in this thing. But if you're going to throw it anyway, learn how it works. Because once you learn how something works, you tend to know how to take care of it better. It's just like our bodies. If we didn't know how to, if someone didn't go in and cut up dead bodies and cut us up and become scientists and learn how it works, then we wouldn't be here today. A lot of us wouldn't be here today. You know, that's what so before I throw something away, people who know me, I will open that sucker up. How does this work? So now I know with a coffee maker, if you don't put that filter in there and you keep putting that hard water, even if you have a water softener, it's going to clog no matter what. Because that air bubble is going to happen. That it's going to hit and it's not moving. I know that about my pool. And now instead of paying somebody to come out and look at my hot tub, I now do it myself because I know it's an air bubble. But you guys, hang in there. I hope this helps. The Retired School of a Principal. Guys, you are amazing. Like, share. Please go to my YouTube channel. Today's art class. See you guys later.